Hello everybody, this is class 13 and it's being dubbed, so it might look very strange, but don't look at my mouth, just listen to what you're going to do. We're going to start with some breathing exercise, and it's the split breath. You're going to bring your arms up as you split your inhalation and then breathe out, either through your mouth or your nose. Use your arms as levers as you breathe in, splitting your inhalation in 3-4 bits. Slowly come down all the time you're breathing out, integrating it with your breathing tempo. No straining. Splitting your inhalation 2-3 times. Pause for a second as you turn your hands and slowly come back. And breathe out through your mouth or through your nose. Comfortably elongated in your spine. The movement is continuous, your inhalation split. I'm going to do it the other way around, so breathe in one continuous inhalation. And then split your exhalation 2, 3 or even 4 bits. All the time you're breathing out. Breathing into the belly, chest, side of your ribs. A few more times. Quietening your mind. Emphasis on the exhale. Last one. We're going to do the dandelion, so the emphasis is now on the exhale. So you breathe in short and then do pa 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 pa. Not straining. Nice deep inhale and then go pa 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 till your breath is spent. A few more times. Emphasizing that letting go as you breathe out in little bits. Blowing away those fluffy bits of the dandelion in autumn. And then make the nice relaxed breath in between. Going to circle the neck. Make sure you're comfortably upright. Make it a large circle. Engage your abdominals slightly. Keep it slow and loose. And you can do it the other way around when you finish this one. Keeping the upright spine without being rigid. Shoulders down. Releasing your neck. You may hear a little bit of crackling at the back of your neck. And make it your last one. Going to bring your right arm across the top of your head towards your opposite ear. Loose fit. Extend the other arm, straighten the elbow. Flex your hand. And then move your right ear towards your right upper arm. So you can really press into the flexed hand. Straighten the elbow. Stay centered. Getting that nerve stretch and a bit of traction. Whole body awareness. 3 more breaths. I'm going to do it the other way around. Cross the top of your head, not in front of your forehead. Straighten the right elbow, flex your hand, spread the fingers, and find that maximum counter stretch. Engaging those nerves in your wrist and your fingers. Comfortable breath, natural breath. Whole body awareness. And release, make sure your shoulders are released. I'm going to do the side stretch without lifting your chin. Rotate your head to the right. And the same to the left. Regally upright. Repeat it once more. Back to the opposite side. I'm going to come off your pillow or foam if you're sitting on one of those. I'm going to cross-legged and put your feet in line with your knees, so not sort of closer together. Align up your knees with your outside of your feet, and as high as your knees and your feet are the same level, more or less. Either fingertips or hands on your knees so you can resist with your lower trunk. You push your sitting bones, the side of your feet, your knees to the floor, as if you want to make an imprint into the mat, into the floor. And keep that going. Without locking, you need to keep the breath going. Keep your shoulders down. Your mind has to be there for it to work. Activating your lower trunk, your pelvic floor, your sitting bones, ankles, feet. Feel the contraction, it can be quite strong. And then straighten up into the crown, and we're going to do a twist. So your left hand around your right knee, your right hand behind, your fingertips. Always twist from the base of the spine. So first abdominal, further to the right, your ribs, collarbone, regally feeling the middle of the spine as you twist. The whole of your spine is twisting, not just your shoulders. Maintain the twist. Breathe into the belly. It will be the outer abdominals which engage naturally. Slowly come back and do the same on the other side. Always from the base of the spine into the crown, elongating the spine but not locking it. Shoulders released, breathe into the belly. And then come forward, press your sitting bones back. You want to widen and lengthen the lower back. Perhaps your elbows on the floor, perhaps just your hands, or if you can, bring your forehead to the floor. And see how far you can release. Dropping your knees, easing into the posture, perhaps gradually. Really let go, lengthening the back. I'm going to do the same story the other way around, lining up your feet and your knees. So you can press down, either your fingertips in front of you or your back of your hands on your knees. You need to engage the pelvic floor, press your sitting bones down, your knees down, the side of your feet, the ankles. The whole lower trunk is engaged. Keep it going, your mind has to be there for it to work continuously. Activating the lower trunk, strengthening your lower trunk, engaging your core. And release, so you can do the twist. Weakly upright into the crown, sitting bones still down but not too active. Might feel different this side. See if you can find that maximum twist, particularly in the middle of your spine. Without lifting your chin, do the same to the other side. Letting go of blockages, unblocking unnecessary blockages in your spine. Once again, see if you can walk forward. Might be easier, might be tighter this side. Okay, so make sure you keep the lower back wide. Press your sitting bones back as you come forward and find your resistance. Release your head. Allowing your hips to open. Maybe feeling the difference between the one and the other side. Just let go, breathe and let go. Dropping into gravity without resisting it. And then we're going to come, maybe shake your legs for a moment. So we're going to do the twist, the threading of the needle, and because our shoulders and our arms press down, the thoracic region, the middle part of your sort of trunk, tends to be contracted. So this is one that actually lengthens it and twists it. So come on all fours, your knees fairly wide, your hands in line with your shoulders, spread the fingers. And you're going to take your right hand with your palm facing up, underneath, and come onto the side of your head without rolling it up. And then your upper arm extends upwards. It's not going to go on top of the other hand like we often do. It extends upwards. And then see if you can press into the lower arm and the back of your hand as you rotate the upper shoulder higher. The lower shoulder, which you resist, can move a bit closer to your sort of hand that you're pushing away with the palm facing up. Rotate without rotating your head so your neck is safe. And keep pressing into that lower arm, back of your hand. Bring the upper shoulder higher so you can feel how you extend that thoracic region quite a bit. A few more breaths. And then you're going to bring your left hand next to your face as you push into it and bring your right arm up, vertically up. Look at it. And then slowly come back, sliding your hand behind your sort of wrist and hand and bring it up a few times and back down, opening into that vertical position. Inhalation, you go down. Exhalation, you rotate up. So you rotate the opposite way. And force. Press into your left hand. Hold it for a bit longer, last one. You're going to do the same little sequence on the other side. So your left hand behind your right wrist. And see if you can extend the right hand above your head, right over the side of your ear, possibly. And then lift the upper shoulder and press the lower arm into the floor with your palm facing up, the back of your hand as well. And see if you can rotate the upper trunk a bit more. Extending the whole upper trunk and twisting the spine without rolling your head up. Keep looking sideways. Breathe, whole body awareness. Sitting bones as high as possible, comfortable. Then bring your right hand next to your face and see if you can rotate. Bring your arm up, look at it, vertically as much as possible. Extending and then swinging back to your starting position. Enjoying it, contracting and opening. Right up, vertically up. Last one, hold it for a bit longer. Stay in it. For a moment, come back into an Eastern praying, child pose. Release your shoulders. And come back to sitting. You're going to do the Monkey King, as we call it. So bring your right foot forward, your knee over your ankle, fingertips, if you've got short arms like me, it could be flat hands. Your back knee as far back as you can, really pushing your hip forward till you get the groin stretch. With your inhalation, as you breathe out, lift the foot, bring your head to the inside of your leg if you can, otherwise a bit higher. So you get to the hamstring, right into the buttock, inner thigh. Look up as you breathe in and push forward, keep your shoulders relaxed. And see if you can maximize your range over time. Sometimes just pressing more of your hands on the floor will make it a stronger groin stretch. Rocking to and fro. You need to feel that hamstring, engaging it. You want to stay there, so work at it. Maybe your hands can go further forward. Bring your foot, the toes a little bit up the front of your right foot. And if you can, straighten your knee. If you can't, keep it bent. And use your exhalations to move deeper into that Monkey King. Curtsying of the Monkey King. Other way around, left foot forward. Align your ankle with your knee, and exactly the same, your own breathing tempo. Really rounding your back when you drop your head, so you get to that middle and lower back, it's quite strong there. See if you can increase your range, bring your head to the inside of your left leg if you find it quite easy, so you get a stronger stretch. Slowly moving deeper into it. You want to stay there. Next time you come into the Monkey King, keep the mount of the big toe down. And of course when you're in it, bring it up. Use your exhalation to surrender rather than force. Whole body awareness, mindful breathing. Release your head. Okay. Going to come up and use a book. This is a core strengthener, or if you have a block, use the block. Quite a fair sized book. I'm not getting very far with this book, it's still more or less the same. Churchill. Come onto your back and put the book between your inner thighs, covering from just below your knee as much of the length of your inner thighs, the adductors, as you can. You're aiming at the adductors. And your feet are a little bit wider than the book or the block. It's easier to press in that way. Now once you've got that, release your arms, your shoulders, your head. If you need a firm under your head, place it there. Now you tip the tip of your hip bones towards your thigh, which will sort of tip your lower back, your coccyx a little bit closer to the floor as well. Then kick in the area which becomes hollow between your pubic bone and your navel. Hopefully it should get a bit hollow as you engage those muscles. Now you kick in the hip flexors once you've released, and begin to lift your feet just an inch off the floor. Once your whole trunk is released, just an inch off the floor, not more. It's much easier when you lift it higher, so keep it just an inch off the floor. Squeezing the block or the book so that your adductors, your inner thighs engaged, your abdominals engaged, your hip flexors engaged, but your shoulders are released. Very easy to contract the shoulders as well, so release them. Breathe, hold, squeeze, relax the shoulders and the upper back. Whole body awareness. It's quite a strong one if you do it properly. And then for a moment release your feet. Take a few breaths in between, and we will repeat it in the same way. So once again, kick in the abdominals, lower abdominals, hip point towards your thigh, rotating or tilting the hip slightly. Kick in the hip flexors and lift your feet just off the floor. Shoulders released. Keep all that going, keep your mind there, otherwise it disappears. It's really a core strength now. Breathe. Release your shoulders. And now drop your feet, take a breath in between. We'll do it for the third time. When you're ready, kick in the abdominals, the hip bone tilts towards your ankles, and lift your feet and maintain that stable kind of posture without engaging your shoulders. Finish that one. Circle your knees loosely and release your abdominals. Always good to work those inner thighs. Okay, we're going to do the clam. There's so many versions that we have. This is a simple one. The most important thing is to make a right angle, line up your heels with your sitting bones, so fairly far back, quite a large angle. Put your hands on your hip. The hip is not supposed to move. You can also extend the arm and rest your ear on your arm. So it's behind your hip, the buttock and the thigh region that you engage. It's the same muscles when you're walking. You do it for quite a while, and you will feel it after a while, but you can see the hip is not moving. It's the leg and the buttock that's sort of inside of there, that inserts in there. So find your own rhythm. You can do it faster, slower. Release your upper trunk, which is relaxed, and keep it going. Slowly building up, and you should feel it in the gluteus maximus after a while. And more. Keeping your heels and your feet together. Natural breath. Whole body awareness. Feeling the build-up. beginning to feel it. Keep going. Strengthening those walking muscles at the back. Just a few more. Okay, we're going to move on to the other side. Might feel quite unequal at the moment. Make sure that you align the sitting bones with the heels. Put your hand on your hip. And exactly the same. The rest of your body relaxed. Try not to move your hip. Probably another 12 or so. Okay, then come up. You can still move. You come into a butterfly. Now I always find that the butterfly is easier afterwards, so maybe you find it as well. You can either press your elbows into your calves or in front of your legs and release your head. Bring your knees closer to the floor and see if it's any easier. Dropping your head. Find that resistance. So slowly begin to come out of this butterfly, and we're going to move into a twist. Bring your right knee up, sit flat on both your sitting bones. It's called a Maharishi Asana, translates as ray of light. It's one of the 12 sages, quite a well-known sage, son of Brahma. So see if you can straighten up, try not to round your back. Then bring your left elbow or upper arm against your outer right knee, if you can't do it on the inside of the leg, without leaning backwards. Your other hand behind you, straighten, sit on both your sitting bones, release the left leg. And once you find that extended spine, and keep that ray of light moving right from the crown into the tailbone, twisting from the base of the spine. See if you can create that upright twist, radiating into the spine. So it's quite a firm pressure if you like. Turning your head. It's one of those sages that protects the divine knowledge, 12 of them. Feel the rotation in your spine, the divine laws, not just the knowledge. Keep it going, release the other leg, stay upright, feel that beam of light. And keep your left shoulder down, which wants to come up. Quite a strong twist if you do it properly. Feel the spine. A few more breath. We'll have to do the other side, you might feel lopsided. Either bring your foot quite close, and if you find it tricky, take it below the level of your knee. Again, find that ray of light in your spine, beaming up and down. Resist without lifting your right shoulder. Keep your sitting bones grounded, your right leg released. And once you've got the extension, twist from the base of the spine right into the crown. Keep that mindfulness of the spine as a unit. Breathe into the belly. Whole body awareness. And come back. For a moment, release into a forward bend, back to symmetry, and we'll do a boat. If you can't stand your sitting bones, not in the coccyx area, you can do it with your knees bent. You can pull up with your hands behind your sort of lower thigh, putting your chest up, kicking in those abdominals, then your hip flexors. And see if you can straighten the back, and if you can straighten your legs, reach into your fingers, shoulders down, breathe. Strong in the thigh usually. And once again let go into forward bend. Always pressing your sitting bones back, chest forward before you release. We're going to do a back bend now, with the preparation of the camel, which you're going to do later. So you can come onto your knees, otherwise you'll have to do a plank variation if you've got any problem. Or stay higher and do the half camel. Your hands either facing forward or backwards. And see if you can lift off your sitting bones. Always abdominals engaged when you come into back bends. Bring your navel up, your chest up. And then release your head and straighten, maybe press into your hands, lift higher. You could resist with your shins into the floor. Shallow breath. Probably if you come high enough, you tighten the buttocks as well. Keep lifting. You need a counter stretch, come into the counter stretch. And repeat it. Always navel up, chest up before you go back. Thighs away from your calves, perhaps a bit higher. Strengthen your back, open your chest, engage your abdominals. Releasing in between. If you want to curl your toes under. It will give you more of a quad stretch, but you might not be able to come so high. Or use your fingertips if you can't reach the floor. Breathe. Curl your toes under, lift. Quad stretch 2. A few more breaths. Hold. Always releasing your back in between. You can do it again. Definitely come a bit higher now. Shallow breath. So come up. We're going to just do a counter stretch to those back bends, and it is the cobbler, which is quite a nice one for different parts of your back, depending how far you take your feet forward. So bring your soles of your feet together, and it's quite a distance forward. And see if you can interlace your hands around it. And press your sitting bones back. You could bring your elbows beyond your shins, you can release your head. And it depends on the distance between your sitting bones and your feet, and how hard you push your sitting bones back and pull onto your feet, where you get the stretch. You can experiment a bit. If you just got to sway back like me, it can really nice. If you can round it lower back, you may feel it in the whole of your back, more in the middle and lower back. Release your head and see what works for you, then release into it. Breathe and feel the stretch in your back. Okay, and then we're going to do some standing. So you need a strap to do the shoulder exercise. Okay, we're going to do the shoulder one with the strap or whatever you've got. It's supposed to be a broom, as you know, a broomstick or a bamboo stick, so try and keep it taut. And just practice and see how wide it needs to be for you to be able to take it over your head and back in a way that's not straining but also not too comfortable. It's supposed to take those little crystals in your shoulders that over time come there away. So you're going to come onto your toes if you can, if not, stay on your heels, and then as you breathe out you come back. When you're back you stay on your toes, keep the broomstick taut, and see if you can keep your balance. Centering. And if you can't go all the way, don't go all the way. Centering, balancing, and clearing out the shoulders. Now we're going to do the twist. So face the right, come back onto your heels, still facing the right, and then you're going to do the same on the other side. Right onto your toes and back to center. That's the whole sequence now. Keep that taut strap. Facing the east and then facing the west and then the north. In my room. Clearing your shoulders. Strengthening your ankles all at once. Looks like you can get into a trance. Okay, so we're going to move on now to a bit more dynamic, and that is the squat into forward bend. Now if you can't go all the way down, you don't go all the way down. I would keep the feet a little bit pointing out if it's easier for your back. I'm not going to go too fast because I don't want to be out of breath. I can see myself saying, but no, I don't do it this time. Just dubbing it. As long as your back is comfortable, see how far you can go down. Officially the heels on the floor, so maybe put a book under it. And swing your arms through so your shoulders can really release. Find your own pace. It should bring the heart rate up a little bit. Some of you might like bouncing. There's always an in and an exhalation for each one. Of course you could do it faster. Just do the two and an in and an exhalation. Keeping the shoulders released, swinging the arms right through. Head released. Heels on the floor if possible. Always crossing the arms in the opposite way as you come into the squats. Keep going. Get into a rhythm. Last few. And then release into a forward bend. Allow your head to drop. If you need to bend your knees, if you can lift the thighs, always lift them. Shoulders away from your ears. Allow your breath to settle. Totally releasing your head, your neck, shoulders away from your ears once again. A few more breath. Bring your hands on the floor, fold your arms. If you can, use your exhalation to release closer to your legs as you hold trunk. Come into an inverted stretch after that. Not locking, but unblocking. You can cross your wrist and do that version for a change, pressing your palms together, or you can do both, extending without locking. I'm going to do a balance, not well timed because you might be out of breath. You're going to now do a balance, so I hope you have caught your breath. Center and interlace your hands around the left knee. Extend into the crown, keep your shoulders down, abdominals slightly engaged. Then you bring your knee up to your chest without bringing your shoulders to your chest to your knee. So it's up only. And then release, keeping your elbow straight, the upright position. And do that a few times, as high as you can bring the knee towards your ribs. Keep your back upright. Find that center. Abdominals engaged, and then you can hold it for a few breaths. The next time you come up. Hold, breathe, tummy in, as high as you can bring it. And then we're going to bring our right hand to the right foot and take it behind you. Firstly in the upright dancer, only look up if you're stable. And then slowly into a fuller dancer. Pushing your foot and your hand into each other may help. Bring your chest down, maybe keep that knee slightly bent. Don't bring your knee out, but backwards. See if you can hold your balance. Go to back bend. And slowly come back, and I want you to bring your knee back to your chest before you bring your foot down like a counter stretch. And then release and take a breath in between. I'm going to do the other side. I always find the left leg is my weaker leg, so it's more balanced and more wobbly. So use your core, place your hands behind and around the knee. Once you've got your center, bring it up and down a few times mindfully. Always bring the knee up, keeping your trunk centered. Slowly perhaps bringing it a bit higher if you can. Helps to fix your gaze, shoulders down. And then hold it for a few breaths in that upright, highest position before you bring your left hand to your left foot. Try not to bring the knee sideways but backwards, and bring your left or right arm up. Not your left arm up, sorry. From the upright dance, see if you can come into a fuller dance. If not, stop where you feel that you can maintain your balance. Pushing your foot and your hand into each other. And then once again bring your knee up, as close to your chest as you can. Keep your elongated spine. And to repeat it once more. Whole body awareness. And then hold. When you're ready, take your foot behind you, press it into your hand into your foot, so resist. And then once you feel stable, see if you can move into a fuller dancer. Bring your knee back up to your chest. It's always tricky. And then we're going to do the other side. Keep the awareness of your spine into the crown. And once you've got that upright position, bring your knee up and down a few times without losing your alignment or raising your shoulders. Natural breath, and then hold. From the upright dancer into the fuller dancer. Perhaps keeping the knee of the leg you're balancing on slightly bent. And see how far you can go down. Bring your knee up again. And then release. Still feeling the wobbliness from the previous one. For a moment, release your back. Release your head. You can lift the thighs if you need to bend your knees. Allowing your back to settle, and then we're going to do a wide position with your legs. You need to do an inverted stretch in between. Going to do the martial art or horse's stance, as you call it. So your feet really pointing out and wide. Bring your knees sort of slightly back and towards your ankles. Knees should be over your ankles here. You can drop your lower back a little bit, tucking your tailbone if you could this way back. Really strong in those thighs, they engage. You can do an inverted stretch, you can actually cross your wrist or an inverted stretch, whichever you prefer. Sinking into those legs and pushing the knees back over your ankles, and if you want to, come onto your toes. Breathe. Try and straighten the elbows. Center. Now we're going to do a twist with your right hand in the middle, and if you need a book under it, place it there. And then rotate from the base of the spine again, not just with your shoulders. See if you can rotate into the crown from the base of the spine, always abdominal, navel, ribs. And really feel that twist, lengthen the spine. It's a good one to lengthen the spine, but reach into your feet so you engage the inner thigh, particularly on one side more than the other. Come up. Do it the other way around. I was cheating, it didn't come up. Extend, rotate from the crown into the tailbone. Reach into your feet. Get to the inner thigh. Feel the lengthening of the spine. And we're going to come back into the horse's stance, maybe with your arms down this time. You can press into that upper thigh. See if you can go a little bit deeper. Come onto your toes, center. Breathe. Strong in your thigh, shoulders released. And once more, the twist. You could take your hand in the opposite waist. It sometimes rotates more. Your palm facing out, and then rotate a little bit more. You really rotate the trunk, not so much your shoulders. Breathe, whole body awareness. Extend the spine. Other way around. So you can lift the thighs, straighten your knees, reach into your feet, and rotate the whole of your trunk with your arm in the opposite waist with the hand. A few more breaths. And then from there, if you can, take your feet wider. If it's comfortable for you, you can fold your arms, you can take your hands to the ankles. You can also take your hands through the arch, with your elbows bent backwards and parallel. Your hands as far through the arch as you can. And then pull your whole trunk closer to the arch, or if you can, bring your head to the floor. Getting a stronger inner leg stretch. Reach into your feet. See if you can stay on the outside of your feet. And take a few breaths. So slowly begin to move out of it. Maybe walk your hands forward, heel toe your feet closer. Come back to upright. Shake your legs if you need to. We're going to now do a sequence of 3. One is a martial art kind of, I don't know what it could call it, but it's a kind of half moon because your fingers are not going to the floor. You have a bent elbow. And it always in the martial arts engages that abdominal thigh, core region, as you know. So bring your right foot forward, left foot back. Bring your right hand with your palm facing out. Bring the fingers to your clavicle or your collarbone, not your neck. And then see if you can shift your weight to that front leg. Try and keep your knee centered. Resist with your back foot and arm as you come into that half moon, rotating the upper shoulder more upper and the lower shoulder more in. And see how far you can bring your back leg and your arm up and keep the elbow moving down. So you rotate the upper trunk and make that half moon. From there into triangle, Trikonasana to the right. Always do the rotating of your feet or the unscrewing of the jaw. So your front hip goes back, back hip forward, and your inner thighs close. So radiate into the limbs, into your hands. Extend into the crown, your knees are soft. Then face forward with your shoulders. Bring your arms up and come into a forward bend on the right, wherever you can reach. It could be your shin, the knee, the floor. You could even take your hands back if you're quite supple. You can turn your hand around. And then slowly move your head closer to your leg. See if you can straighten the knee. If you can't, bend it slightly. Always the inner thighs closer, the front hip back, the back hip forward. You're going to do the same on the other side. So the martial art half moon variation with your left hand, fingertips to your collarbone. shift, engage your core, flex your back hand and the leg that comes up, front knee bend, and slowly rotate the upper shoulder over the lower shoulder, so you can straighten the back knee and find that half moon, floating half moon. It really is a floating one. Slowly come back, triangle to the left, breathe into the belly, your knees are soft. Always rotate the front hip back, back hip forward. Screwing off the jaw with your feet will help. Extend into the crown. Forward bend on the left. Ease into it. Breathe if you can, straighten the knee. Now you're going to repeat that once again on each side. Shift your weight. Flex your foot in your hand, the upper foot in the hand. Open out. Come back. We're doing it a bit faster the second time. Into the triangle on the right, radiating into your hands. Looking up if you're stable. Breathe into the belly. Shoulder blades to your waist. Come up with your arms and fold forward over your right leg. And see if you can come a bit deeper into it this time. Release your head. Whole body awareness. Other side. Negotiating your balance, rotating the upper shoulder higher, pressing into your foot in your hand, you know where they are. You should lift the back foot, come back into the triangle, and into the forward bend. Ease into that. And come up, and we're going to do the salute to the sun. It is the 13th class, so this is only the third salute, so nobody can complain. Okay, so 8, salute to the sun. Let's do your own version. We've got suns outside, so it's already there. Surya is the name for the sun, greeting it. The center, and then breathe in, come up and back. Breathe out, come into a forward bend. Stepping back with your right and your left into a plank. Pause, hold the breath, and then do your own version of the caterpillar. Knee, chin and chest on the floor, bum in the air. And then come up into the dog with your head up. You can have your knees on the floor, off the floor. And then press back into a dog with your head down. Acute angle, head to the floor. Step forward with your left foot. And then come into a lunge. From there into a forward bend. Release, come up and back. Back into a forward bend. This time you go back with your left first and then the right. Hold the plank, hold the breath. And do your version of the caterpillar. Breathe in, come up, lift out of the shoulders, look up. Dog with your head down. Come forward with your right foot. Do a forward bend, don't leave it out, release your head. And then come up and back. Palms together, back into the starting position. One salute finished. Continue, breathing in, come up and back, look up. Release into a forward bend if you need to bend your knees. Step back with your right and your left into the plank. Come into the caterpillar, up. Lift out of the shoulders, dog with your head down. Left foot forward, quick lunge, look ahead. Forward bend. And then come back down. Step back with your left and your right, pause, caterpillar. Come up, dog with your head down. Back with your right foot. release into forward bend. I'm not doing that very well. Not releasing my head. Sorry. Keep going. I have to do it better the next salute. When I'm on, do it again. Habit. Stay with the breath, it's loosening your joints. Get into a rhythm with the breath if you can. Getting the heart rate up a bit. Greeting the masculine sun, fire energy. Always difficult to count when you get into the zone. Keep it up, no cheating. The last few. Keep that awareness, whole body awareness. Integrating the movement with the breath, stilling the mind. If you find it very difficult, always do it slower. I think we need to be getting to the end. Yeah, that was 8. So come into child pose. If you prefer, sit in the hero position. You don't always have to come into the child pose. It does release your back, but hero position is also quite nice. And just take a few breaths and release. Feel the energy flow in the whole of your body. We're going to go on with a back bend on your tummy, which for some backs might not be so good, in which case you're going to do opposite arm and leg. But if it's okay for your back, you can do the full one. It looks simple, but it's strong on your back. I could feel it a little bit in my back, so that's why I'm warning you. If you need something for your pubic bone in your hips, then put a towel underneath you when you come onto your tummy. Some people need that. So we're going to lie on our tummy with our palms facing up and the forehead on the floor. And the idea is to not move the one lower trunk as you lift the upper trunk, and vice versa, you don't move the shoulders when you lift the legs, which is difficult for some people. They lift their shoulders. So try and separate the upper and the lower trunk. It's actually a yoga one, it's not a Pilates one. So on your forehead, palms facing up. It might be easier for your feet to be a little bit apart for your lower back. Zip up the abdominals as you breathe in. See if you can lift your head without throwing it back. And then as you do the next breath, lift your legs, clear the thighs of the floor, keep your upper trunk released, and you find that you engage the buttocks and the back of your legs quite a bit. So alternate. It's not high, it doesn't matter how high you come, as long as you can clear the thighs. It's more about keeping the shoulders released when you lift your legs. Your legs down as you extend into the crown, and then lift the upper trunk a little. Strong on your lower back, buttocks. Keep alternating. Upper trunk and lower trunk, unless you find it too strong for your back, then you can extend your arms and lift opposite arm and leg, as we do quite often. A few more times. Watch your shoulders. Gauge those abdominals. And come into a counter stretch. Release your lower back. Perhaps your knees wider if you prefer, so you can release the back. It's always about lengthening and letting go in between. Dropping your chest if you can. For some people it's difficult to drop the chest in that position. Then we're going to go into another back bend, a half camel and a full camel. So allow your breast to settle. So on your knees, curl your toes and bring your middle finger to the heel. Always abdominals engaged, and try not to bring your hip back, but keep it aligned with your knee. Very easy to do, to bring your hip back, and always bring your navel up, then your rib, then your collarbone and your chest, and don't go back with your trunk before you've done that. It should be second nature by now, but to just remind you. Come into the half camel, zip up the tummy, you could also bring your fists to your lower back and then do it. And if you're comfortable, you could bring your other arm back into the full camel. Maybe your knees a bit wider, sometimes helps. Let's do it slowly. Slowly release your neck so you don't strain it, not just drop it back. Much shallower breath, your alveoli are wide open, so I find I hardly need to breathe into that one. But do any of the other ones if you find it tricky, and then in between come into a counter stretch to release your back. And then repeat it. You can also do it with your feet flat if you're comfortable, and resist with your shins, so your lower legs into the floor. It gives you more support. Navel up, chest up, head back. Resist. Hardly need to breathe. Or do the half version. You can do it against the wall with your thighs, the Iyengar one, if you've got a wall. Always come into the counter stretch and totally release. Particularly if you've been there for quite a while. Allow your back to round. gets a bit easier the second and the third time. Very nice if you sit a lot, which we do, to give the whole spine a sort of counter stretch, affect the whole body. Once again, release your back if you've been there for a while. Last one. Feel how you open your chest. Use your abdominals. Release your head. And then release. Feel the contrast. I'm going to do a wide-legged churning posture. There's a few of them. This is maybe sit on a foam if you need to, if you fall back. Feet as wide as you can. As flat as you can. And we're going to take the one arm on the outside and on the inside, but the palms are facing down, and you turn your hand backwards. You slide them away from each other dynamically, so it's a bit of a hip rotation. And if you can't go all the way down, you just go halfway, or wherever you can, rotating the hips with the breath. Sitting on a foam if you find that you fall backwards. Keep going with the breath. Literally getting into a swing of things. You're going to hold it. Use your exhalation to release into it. And if you're close to your leg, always put just maybe a book or a blanket or something between your leg and your forehead. Try and surrender. Other way around. Try and keep your toes pointing up. Going to come into the center. So you can either take your hands in the center or come onto your forearms, flexing your feet a bit. Always take your sitting bones back, your chest forward, so you don't round your upper back. You can also take your hands to the inside of your feet. Slowly releasing forward and down. Quite a nice inner thigh stretch, but it might take a bit of time to kick in. So do it in stages if you need to. Stay halfway up, or put something underneath your head. Use your exhalation to release. Feeling that stretch in the inner knee and thigh, probably. I'm going to do an inversion. That's going to be the shoulder stand and plow. So you don't need anything. You can do the half one, or you can do a higher one. You can do the plow against the wall. You can do if you've got a wall, you can even do the shoulder stand with your feet against the wall and lift your bum off the floor. Maybe one leg away from the wall or one leg against it. As you know, I prefer with the block. I know some of you will do too. You might have to have some blankets there. And of course some of you also use a strap, which I don't know, you probably have got no one at home. Or do the plow. Some of you can't do the shoulder stand. Even on your back, taking hold of your feet Now you can bring your one leg up to one down. Come into a plow. Supposed to slow down your heart rate. Doesn't always do that for me. It's not my most comfortable position. Something with the neck. But for many people it is. I've noticed you can be there forever. And then it will slow down your heart rate. You can also do the spider with your knees to your ears, if you can balance. You can bring your hands to the floor, or you can bring your hands to your feet, if you're in the plow. Works on the hormone system. Try not to bring your chin too close to your throat, rather pressing a little bit in the back of your skull if you need to. You're going to come out of it. And as a counter stretch, you're going to do it a little bit different than we normally do. So you come onto your back, you slide your right leg down and bring your knee to your chest, and then lift your upper trunk and bring your toes of your right foot to the floor if you can, or try and get it there, pulling yourself up. Try and keep your other foot on the floor. Breathe, hold. It's not so easy actually. And then release. I'm going to do it the other way around. Slide your right leg down, interlace your hands around your left knee and pull up and see if you can bring the toes to the floor of your bent leg. Pulling yourself up. Kind of a bit of a back strengthener as well. Inverted stretch, and then allow your body to release and your neck to roll a few times from side to side. And then we're going to go into relaxation. It's going to be a sitting position. So if you need to put something on, or socks or a top, or you want to sit against the wall, do so. Okay, so usually at this time of the year, I do the tratak, which is the candle gazing. And I do it because it's also St. John's Festival, which is like for us the beginning of winter. In Europe it is the beginning of summer, so in Europe they've got those big fires. It's the Baptist, St. John's the Baptist, big fires at night. People, when the fires go out, they jump over it. But here it makes more sense to have the candle as a more inner picture, inner experience of winter when everything goes to seed. Because it's difficult to do now, so what I thought we'll do a breath, and then instead of having the outer candle, which we'll have to wait until September or whenever we come back, when we can still do it, is create an inner sensation or picture or vision of a candle inside of your heart. Blue, yellow kind of light, it can glow there, you can feel it there, you can sort of enhance it with an elevated feeling, maybe gratitude, love, peace. As you do what I call the I am breath, where you simply stay with the essence of the breath itself, which is the most impermanent part of yourself, but in a sense it's the most enduring, because it's the only part that you take with you when you leave this planet, as far as I and yogis are concerned. So I want you to simply breathe in and out and mentally either say I am or mentally stay with the sensation of the breath. That what you call I, at the age of 3, when you don't call yourself Marjolaine or Johnny anymore, you suddenly refer to yourself as I, and it's that permanent sense of self that's always there, that I want you to sort of connect with, and the flame and the breath, for a while before we go into total relaxation. So it's that enduring breath, the sensation of aliveness, that flame within you, quietening your mind, closing your eyes, and see if you can maintain that awareness. As you let go of all your roles, father, mother, parent, shopkeeper, whichever you are, let it go, release it, and stay with that essence that higher sense of self, and the flame within you, which represents that kind of heart and the season, the winter season. It can be blue and yellow. So begin to breathe, natural breath, and see if you can do it with that awareness. In your own comfortable breathing tempo, letting go of everything else. Just arriving at the breath, flame, quietness, literally in the present moment, and see if you can hold it in that way. Breathing into the belly, chest, stilling the mind. Raising your consciousness to that sense of spirit within you, that divine nature. See if you can become one with it. Bring yourself back if your mind begins to wander. I am breath. Creating an elevated emotion such as gratitude, wholeness. Feeling that heart flame burning, stirring. Feeling the aliveness of your breathing. Stay with that inner silence, space, sense of well-being, as you make yourself comfortable in your back. Release, settle. And allow your mind to flow with the music and harmony. Slowly begin to move your fingers, your toes. Feel the pressure against your back. Begin to move your head a bit. Perhaps bring your knees to your chest or roll onto your side. Coming aware of the textures, the colours, your surrounding as you open your eyes. Grounding yourself back into this room or space. You need to stretch before you come up into a sitting position. As always, I hope you're able to practice this. It's a little bit different because it's a dubbed class. But, and I also noticed I left out one posture, but maybe you're quite happy about it. It's probably long enough. So have a good week of practice and stay well, safe. Namaste. Thank you. Marjolein.